RuneScape has a new bow and it hits 3 times. The new Phantom Musper boss drops Venator shards as a 1 in 100 rate. You need 5 of these shards to combine and make the Venator bow, which cost me a grand total of 50 mil. The bow has some very interesting, unique mechanics, so I'm going to test it out all around RuneScape. Disclaimer, this video was filmed after the bow was buffed out of its broken state on release. For those of you that are wondering where I am, this is a new area of the map added for Desert Treasure 2. Another one of our beloved black squares has perished. Everything from the ancient vault to the Oozer Oasis is completely new. These NPCs have been added to the Oasis as clues of what is to come. Elias White, Ali the Wise, is charged up with Ancient Essence. It has a range bonus of 90, which is the same as a rune crossbow. However, the Venator bow is two-handed, but it does have an inbuilt range strength of 25 before any range bonus equipment is worn. Not to mention, the bow does look pretty majestic when walking or running into battle. The Venator bow also has a very cool animation. Let's have a look at it. Pew, pew, pew. Bring it over your shoulder and fire off the arrow. I'm in love with this animation. I think it looks amazing. But that's not what makes the bow so good. It's the fact that you can hit 3 targets in one attack. I attack one of my accounts, click on the floor, it bounces from the first to the second to the third. 30, 30, 11. That is some insane damage, especially considering that this bow is 4 ticks. Alright, I'm just going to annihilate 3 accounts at once without getting off them. Now, the bow is rebounding constantly between the 3, and look at this. We're doing so much DPS. Every 4 ticks there's an attack. That's 1 down, and then, yeah. Absolutely smoking it. 35, 36. Okay. It's also worth noting that there's a chance that the arrow bounces from the original to a different target back to the original. That was 35, 32, 20. What? You know what time it is. We've got to test the max hit. So a regular hit can hit a 38, and then on task, we can hit a 42. So its true max is 42, 28, 28, as the second and third hits can't be more than 66% of your max hit. I think it might be broken in Clan Wars. It's time to test it all over RuneScape. Anywhere that's multi with several monsters, it should be very good. First place that is incredibly useful will be Nightmare Zone. So many people still need to train up their accounts, alt accounts, all the rest, and this will be very AFK, very quick XP. I've turned on 1x1 NPCs, so I'm able to bounce between them, and they also have low defense, so this should be very, very good. Okay, I'm just going to auto-retaliate, hands off the keyboard, and see how much XP an hour we are getting. So coming up to the end of my overload, and in max gear, I'm getting 230 range XP an hour. In the same gear, using a blowpipe, I probably get 100k. So AFK range training is now twice as fast, which is incredible. I've reset and chucked on the Void for some more realistic gear. All right, so it actually turns out Void is better, and I'm getting 240k XP an hour. Granted, I have 99 range, but this is an insane training method for basically 0 effort here in Nightmare Zone. Another spot where the bow is guaranteed to be best in slot is Barbarian Assault. Remember, you have to use arrows in the Barbarian waves, making Venator bow the meta by far. Welcome to hell. Something to consider in PvM is that if your targets are too far apart, the arrow won't bounce. So these guys are 2 tiles in the middle. Now they go 1 tile in the middle, and this one will bounce. The first one didn't bounce, should bounce back, and come back, and come back, and come back. The usual. Oh my, which arrows are which? I don't know what to use. Okay, we need to get the NPCs quite close to each other. There's 2 stacked there, and that was a 2-hit. Nice. It should start getting really good from now. That was a 50. What the hell? There's definitely some funky Barbarian Assault mechanics going on, so I'm hitting more than usual. However, all I've got to do is stack these NPCs up, and I should get the bouncing together. Look how many hit splats there are, doing lots more DPS than what is normally the best in slot, which is a 3rd age bow. Panic sell that, I guess. Yeah, this is definitely so much better than what I've done in the past. You could do some sweaty stuff with other weapons, but I still think this is probably better than all that. Just this bow is too OP here. Stack them up and they just die. Every single wave, attackers first by an absolute mile. We're clearing it right now. Can't say I'm not familiar with VA, but it's definitely faster than I remember. All right, wave 10, it is time to leave. The next place the bow really excels is in PvP, so I'm bringing the new Ancient Scepter staff and the new Venator bow to multi-combat. The plan is to run in and get the extra freeze timer with the new ancient scepter and then switch to the bow and get a tank account to stand next to the target so the bow reflects off the target onto the tank and back onto the target and does insane DPS. I mean, I'm trying to eat as fast as I can on my other account and you just can't really out-eat it. Yeah. I've assembled the Preston Power Rangers of Torvesta and Reese to help me on my mission.
We could also check Chaos Altar, because imagine we find a noted boner. Noted boner.
Don't stand next to it. Don't stand near. Don't stand near.
I'm not.
Here we go.
Come on.
Come on.
Oh my.
Wow. What?
I see a massive XP drop.
Holy
Oh, Dynamo!
There are so many hits, it kind of hides what's going on, but when I hit a 347 XP drop, that's the equivalent of doing 65 damage in one shot. The bow is so strong in close quarters, it's important you don't get stuck next to the target.
You made a terrible mistake.
Oh my gosh.
Bow him.
I've pray range.
Oh wait, pray range.
Yeah, Alex, pray range.
Alex, pray range, you're gonna get murdered.
Oh!
Mate,
What?
Holy shit.
What just happened?
400 XP drop? Yeah, that's 75 damage in one hit. Wait, come off, go around the south. Oh no, I got
Can
it.
we meet him around the other side? Yes, let's go.
Well, you're on him.
Yeah. I'll
Is he
stand close. Get his frozen.
Wow.
What? This is a 2v1.
What? Mate.
That was just two of us. We just duoed him to death.
Wait,
what just happened? I wasn't even there.
Just to break that down for you, because we were stuck 2v1, I move in so that Torvesta's arrows will bounce off me, and he ends up getting a huge XP drop for the kill. A 32 plus a 36. That's 68 damage in one hit using the bow. Crazy.
Big beast when it comes to the lyrics. Me, I do this thing on the mic with no gimmicks. Came a long way, I was serving in no civics. And you were trying to keep me from winning, but I did it. Ask about me, I did it. Let man stay on my sofa, I did it.
how many have they got?
I get smoked.
Come on, Joel. Tank.
Mate,
One
this
single.
bow
Right, we got
is
this guy. Go big north,
ridiculous.
northeast.
So we take a fight with a small team outnumbered, and literally the only reason we win is because two of their members are within bow range, and even as I'm getting smashed, my bow is still bouncing between them.
Avengers assemble, please.
Right, where are you standing then?
Okay, right.
Come
Oh
on.
no.
The thing is,
It was just too strong.
We decide to take another Team v Team multi-fight, and their bows come in clutch again. Perfect. These two are within bow distance, and they're getting destroyed, and then they split.
Man, that guy's in Carol's. Oh my
Wait,
word.
use bow.
Use bow.
Oh my word, he's getting destroyed.
He's getting destroyed.
He smited. Oh no.
He's dead.
He's
He's
dead.
dead.
Holy
As you can see, when his teammate leaves, I can move in to contribute to the ricochet effect, and he just dies so quickly. Super fun bow to use. Now come single, come single.
How many have they got? I killed one of them.
It's going to be 4v1 though.
Smited.
He smited. Stand next to him. We're gonna bow him.
Pray range, Alex, pray range.
Pray range though, yeah. Oh, he's dead. Right, get the next guy.
Alex,
Oh no!
run away,
Watch out!
run away.
Oh my god. Wait.
Oh my god, he's getting a little.
I'm actually violating.
Oh,
him.
okay, yeah.
Oh.
He just returned. Oh my god, what the hell? We just cleared
We're
him
actually
so
fucking
hard.
geniuses. What?
Oh, we just cleared a team of like 5. Get out, let's get out.
Like,
I'm
let's
pretty
not bite
low.
off more than we can chew. Like, fucking hell.
It's safe to say the bow is pretty damn good in PvP. Look out for the Wilderness Boss rework. It might feature. Back to PVM, and this is somewhere I think the bow could be used. Inferno, bouncing off all the small monsters inside and getting insane DPS. I just want to let you know I'm nowhere near speedrunner level. There are probably loads of people that are way better at the game that could find a use for the bow here. But I'm going to try my best. First off, the nibblers. I'll be able to attack them all in one. There we go. They're not instantly going to die, but that was pretty good. Pretty decent start, actually. I'm happy with that. The nibblers, one shot. Small bloblets, this could be good. It can bounce between all 3. It's more damage than chins, but oh my god. It's a weird one. You can't tell which one's dying, and there is delay between all the damage, so maybe not the best. And like here, that's another example. That's a massive problem with the nibblers. It bounces from the first nibbler to the second nibbler, back to the first nibbler, and then the third one just stays alive. You don't get that problem of chins. However, there are instances like this one where the nibblers don't actually spawn all together, but because you're using the bow, the gap doesn't matter and it finishes all the nibblers off, which is a lot better than barrage or chins. Again, here the nibbler pattern is bad, but I managed to get them all within one arrow shot, which saves me time. If the bow was coded to prioritize 3 NPCs over bouncing back to the original, maybe the bow could be very good for the nibblers here. Bow, go! See, this is the perfect place to just use it on the smaller NPCs like the bats. Here's another spot. There we go. 2 melees on top of each other. I can use the bow because they're stacked perfectly. Unfortunately, the NPCs are large, which means that you can't actually get too much bouncing with melee mages and rangers. So for niche circumstances like this, or maybe with some clever laws, you'd be able to use the bow well. I forgot my stamina potion, so you might get to see me die live on the airwaves. But I'm about to proc the healers, and I want to see if the bow works here. Come on. Please bounce. No, I think that's too much of a gap. Oh, no. I was hoping it could tag too. Alright, this is the worst healer proc of the century now. Okay, I made it. I was kind of trolling that entire run, though. First bow cape done. Wait, I got a PB by over 2 minutes. Was that to do with the bow, or I don't know. I don't know, actually. That was... Yeah, I did use it a fair bit. I stopped using it and started using chins towards the end for the nibblers because it's not that consistent. But with some tweaks and maybe some giga brains that speedrun Inferno, they might find a very good use for this bow in this content. Another thing the bow is very, very good for is just for doing Slayer AFK and getting a very good XP rate. I would have loved this back when I was maxing. So look, we've got Abyssal Demons to kill. Let's go to the Catacombs and get an insane rate. The best thing about the bow is that when you want Slayer tasks like Abbey Demons, they're unaggro. However, if you want an AFK, you normally have to go around tagging them all. But the bow is just going to allow me to sit here and they're all going to stack up. Alright, Auto Retaliate is on. It is time to just sit here and let the bow work its magic. So we're getting 47,000 Slayer XP an hour for not even clicking the monsters, just standing here, letting the bow do its business. It's AFK, it's great range XP as well. I would have loved this back in the day. It's a shame I'm 99 Slayer now though. You've got to remember, something like AFK with a whip wouldn't be over sort of 25k Slayer XP an hour. This is without superiors as well. The exact same idea applies at Blood Velds. Because they're 2x2s, the arrows bounce a lot easier and you can just AFK for very nice Slayer XP. Look, it's aggroing them all. I'm not going to have to click on the screen until I need to re-prayer pot. And I could just not even use offensive prayers if I wanted to chill out. Black Demons, interesting. All right, I've got a spicy idea for the bow for these things. What are we saying? Genius or a bit of a reach? I don't even know. This is going to be insane for demonic gorillas. But like, realistically, oh no! Maybe not. Maybe not. One of the many uses of this bow. What are we saying? Wait. What? Alright, round 2. What? How do I not get in? Round 2. Wait, what? I'm so confused. What? No way. The best in slot for getting God Wars Dungeon, KC. More niche uses. It is good in this situation though when you got lots of small NPCs. It bounces from Zilliana to Starlight back to Zilliana, which is pretty nice. However, each bounce has its own defense roll, and because this doesn't have anything that's cutting through the defense, it's not going to be so good compared to a T-bow or a Shadow. I mean, when it hits, it's pretty nice. So there's some big hits there, but it's just not going to hold up versus the other weapons that we have. Like, for example, that was a very slow kill. However, you could use it to kill the minions. It'll be pretty good for minion kills, seeing as you can just bounce between the minions. How well does the Venator bow perform at all 3 raids? I don't know. Let's find out. The problem with the bow in all 3 raids is that there's just not that many NPCs in each room, so you can't bounce it, and therefore the bow is kind of useless. The NPCs are also large, which is another problem because the bow doesn't bounce, as it calculates where the NPC is based off its center tile. By the time you've lured the shamans on top of each other, you may as well have just T-bowed them to death. The same's true for skeletal mystics. You have to lure them together to get the arrows to bounce. And then as a result, you take more damage, and I'm not even sure it's better than a T-bow. Mainly the only feasible use of the bow in Cox could be against the deathly mages, because you do a lot of damage very quickly. However, you do have to tank too. Is that enough to bring the bow? I don't think so. And just for the sake of completeness, we're at the Theatre of Blood. The only room where it might be at least kind of good is the Nihilicus. I'm going to leave this one alive and see if I can bounce off a range to a melee. Does it work? Okay, so it is coded to hit zeros on the other one, so I don't think it's going to be very good, especially considering you can use chins here. So, probably not too great. Oh, what bounce? No way, it's so OP by now. Same with this. Can we bounce off the northeast tile? Yeah, we can. It's not the worst thing in the world, but blowpipe and chins is just better for like 5 different reasons. TOB, also bad. In Tombs of Massacre, this is essentially the only situation I can imagine the bow is useful in the Path of Atmankin. However, you can't control the bounces, so it ends up doing damage to the thralls, which you don't really want. I also tried to lure 2 scarabs on top of each other and then range the arcane scarab, which, yeah, not too great. I think the bow stays in the bank for raids. So what's the verdict? Training, amazing. PvP, good. PvM, not so great, but the bow is very fun.
I see a thing that I touch, tell me about talking stage, gotta tell her don't force it. Beef man, pepper and salt it, me and RJ gotta pull up no porking trap.